get some technical things taken care of here. This is what we call in the business killing time. There we go. He's always here to help. My name is Dennis Wheatley. I am a volunteer. Notice I use the word keenly, volunteer for the FAA safety team here in the Tampa area, and I'll say the Florida area. I have been blessed to work with a group of individuals, the FAST team here, the FAA in the Florida area, in the past several years, and them to give me a spot to come talk to you guys about safety and aviation and what we can do to make a change. The safety stand-down program was put together and is being played in numerous places across the state today. Hopefully getting a message across of what we're doing wrong, make us think about it, what we can do to make it better. I've been flying for a long time, almost a little over 30 years now, as well as been in the broadcast business. So I've always had kind of a voice, and I said if I ever get the opportunity to kind of soapbox, I'm going to take full advantage of it, and they have kind of given me that pleasure over the years. And it's quite a task that I have this information available to me on accidents, incidents, and dealing with the FAA guys and enforcements, and it's like, wow, we can preach this till we're blue in the face about regulations. We can preach till we're blue in the face about minimums. We can talk about being safe. And as somebody recently said, how much can you bombard us before we become safe or not? And it's really what I realized in this segment that gave me to do was professionalism and adherence to regulations and the ability for an individual to treat this business as a profession. It's up to each person as their attitude of how they're going to present themselves when they get near or around an airport or an airplane environment. And that's part of what I was going to talk to you a little bit about this morning. And I have a set of safety standards. If you can see the screen here, and the one I kind of work on is the reality of it. And I like the reality of things. I think about this before I get into an airplane. You never want to see that, because that's what it's going to end up being. The insurance company, the funeral home, and all that stuff is going to go away, and your neighbors or your co-workers or your family members are going to see this probably on the front page. Experience, instructor, pilot, recreational pilot, instrument pilot, whatever, knew better. And they're going to talk about you after you're gone. You don't want anybody talking about you after you're gone. You want to say nice things about you. You don't want anybody to say, hey, Dennis knew better than to go off and weather like that. Or didn't he know to check his gas? Didn't he know to check and see if the airport was open? Or did he read his map when he flew into that airplane or building or whatever? So it comes back to me. It's not exactly what I know, what I can quote from the rule book. It's my attitude. It's my attitude that I get up and go to the airport with. Now, we're going to talk a little technical stuff in here. We've been talking safety and safety this. We're going to talk about a little technical thing here. And I just want to bring this to a point this morning. And let's pick out, I think I maybe have that one there. I like class participation here. Somebody raise your hand and tell me something this device shows. Says what? Shows where the sky is and the ground is. Somebody else. Pick out a feature. Your attitude. It shows your attitude relative to the horizon, correct? Anything else that's electric? Shows your pitch, right? What? Shows your bank. What else does it show you? Second? Right, desired flight attitude. Maybe a flight director. involved. Go ahead. Shows you where the horizon is. A lot of information. Go ahead. May not be showing you anything. It may be dead. Maybe rolled upside down. Second? Okay, exactly right. Shows you a lot of stuff. And I had this thrown at me years and years and years ago by a flight instructor. And I have been surrounded by, I have surrounded myself with professional people throughout my career. I was taught by some airline pilots. I was taught by professional people. And I have had 172s, Aztecs, and I have flown general aviation. I love it. But when I got to flying the professional side of it and came back to it, it's like, wow. How was I able to go fly these little airplanes as little as I knew? I had an uncle that flew for Delta Airlines, and he said, I started flying back in the 40s. And he said, back then, when I got 100 hours, I knew everything there was about the CAA at that point. I knew all the rules and regulations. He said, when I got 1,000 hours, I realized I knew half as much as I thought about flying. And when I got 10,000 hours, I realized I didn't know a darn thing about flying. And that kind of stuck with me, you know, the more you find the scary things out there. So I like to share things that I learned. And there's some hidden things in here that we've never seen before. Attitude. It shows you you're professional or not so professional. And we've seen both. We've seen both ends of the barrel, haven't we? There's still a lot of, I get the fortune to see a mixture of pilots. And there's a lot of myths out there that I thought growing up and learning to fly and seeing some of these guys on the right over here, I thought, you know. Now, we don't know that the guy on the right's a TWA pilot. We just caught him in his off or either pre-flight mode. It doesn't, you know, what mode he's in there. But it's the attitude about it. She, on the other side over there, she takes a professional attitude about her flying. We don't know whether he does or not, but we're assuming for this practical purposes that he does not. And he's probably going to end up in maybe the FAA's doorstep or maybe the funeral home's doorstep or whatever. But it's all about the attitude. When you get into that airplane and you put somebody on board that airplane with you, you have become a professional pilot. Whether you charge them or not, if it's a neighbor, they hold you to a higher standard. Now, I always like to survey the group a little bit in here, and I got a lot of familiar faces, but I'll ask this anyway. How many VFR-only pilots are in here? Okay. The rest of you are IFR, I would assume at this point in time. How many airline transport pilots are there? Okay. So, in whole, how many professional pilots are here? The professional pilots, again, hold your hands up. What are the rest of you, chop liver? Now, I'm going to ask that question again. I want to see everybody's hand up. How many professional pilots do we have in here? Come on, come on. There we go. We're all professional pilots. We paid to do this. Okay? We got out and we paid to do this. So when a neighbor asks you, what do you do? So I'm a professional pilot. If you're an instructor, what do? You're the one that teaches the professional pilot. So you're a step up on them, right? You're even above the airline transport pilot if you're an instructor. You're a professional pilot because you're the guy that teaches him what to do. So don't let the airline guys kind of look down on you anymore. I'm the one that taught you. By the way, raise your hand if you're a redneck. There you go. Good for you. You might be a redneck if there we go. The same attitude, a lot of you have ATP rating. A lot of you have an ATP rating that are ATPs. A lot of you have ATP ratings that are not ATPs. And it's that attitude when you step into that professional environment that changes things a little bit. You can go get an ATP rating and never set foot in an airliner as long as you live. but you're still called an airline transport pilot, and somebody will ask you, do you have an ATP rating? Of course I do, I've got an airline transport pilot rating. Who do you fly for? Cherokee Air, Cessna Air. But you're still a professional pilot. You've got the attitude that you've been trained. Now, when you also step into that arena, you step into somebody else's rules and regulations, not necessarily FAA's, you step into your airline's regulations. Did you wear a tie? You wear a hat or you wear a jacket? You treat your customers with professional care and courtesy. You should do that in your Cessna. If your neighbor wants to go ride for you, you tell them and set them down before you get into that airplane with them, we're going to take a little flight this afternoon, but I need your help. It's just you and I up there. If you'd like to participate in this, I'd like you to look out for airplanes for me. Don't scream, just maybe point something out if you see me doing something dumb. In the event that we have a little mishap or something, here's what I would like for you to do. A, B, C, D, whatever it requires for your airplane. Maybe open the door, maybe talk on the radio. Can you talk on the radio? Or maybe pick up your cell phone and dial 911 if I slump over or something. Or here's what you should do. Brief your students. Now, we all have been taught, brief your passengers, and I can guarantee when you go for the check ride, you're going to go, here's the seatbelt, here's how to get it done, and there's the door, and you're done. You should tell that person that's riding with you, just like I would my co-pilot or my captain, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take off on a runway heading, we're going to climb to 1,500 feet, and we're going to level off until we get out of the Class B airspace, and blah, 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 we're going on. In the event that we have to abort this takeoff, I would like for you to call air traffic control, open the door, flip the switch, whatever that you might need their help doing. In the event that we become on fire, or in the event that we get airborne and we have a problem, we are coming back to the airport. Brief your passengers, because most likely in small airplanes, your passenger is somewhat of a co-pilot. It may be a friend that you're flying with. Two guys that fly together, and I see two up here on the front row. I can guarantee you these guys, I've known them long enough, they brief each other on who's got the controls in the airplane because they take a professional attitude at what they do. They don't have a knowledge contest of who knows the most rules and all. It's their attitude, it's their professionalism, their courtesy. Both of them are in professions other than aviation. They're professional people. And that's the way you should treat it, in my opinion. Yeah, you can have fun at it, but you also have to treat it with a bit of respect. And that's where we often get into trouble, is that becomes laxed over the years. Well, I don't need to use a checklist. I fly my same airplane the whole time. I know what I'm doing. If you guys remember the King Air incident down in, I believe, Miami, where the pilot had a heart attack and the guy landed the airplane. He commented on, he was able to do that because this pilot, as he flew, read his checklist out loud to himself. He saw that attitude that gentleman, he said that gentleman was an extreme professional. He did everything by the book and read it out and told him what to do, and he knew what to do when that emergency arose. He was able to put the airplane on the ground. There is nothing wrong at all, and I know you do it. If you're driving along, talking like an airline pilot in the car and rehearsing what you're going to do, don't you? Yeah, don't you do it. Aero 30 mic up at 11,000, climbing for 14th. Oh, that's not good, right? But take that attitude. When you roll down that runway, take it just like a corporate or professional airline pilot would. Call out your airspeeds. Brief yourself. Have a briefing for your airplane. Treat it just like an airline. But if you've had the fortune, Google it. It's not that you can't see it anymore. You can't ride in the cockpit of an airplane anymore. You can't hardly even ride in the backseat of the airplanes anymore. But go Google some of these airline crews and watch them. There's tons of stuff out there on the internet you can and pick up some of their good habits. Learn to give yourself a takeoff briefing. Call yourself airspeed alive. Positive brake, gear up, whatever is applicable for your airplane. I'm not going to, every airplane is different. But do that, and I guarantee you that one day it will pay you back. When something goes bump in the night, you will have a procedure for it. Now, don't make it a task, don't make it hard to do, but just get in the routine of briefing yourself and having a routine for that airplane. Same way, an approach briefing, brief it to yourself just like we do as a crew. We'll look at it. This is the ILS for, I keep wanting to call it Vandenberg, but for Tampa exact. The heading is such and such, the frequency is such and such. I'm going to do this. In the event I can't land, here's my misapproach procedure. Or in the event I have an emergency. But take a professional attitude of it. Now, I know you've seen this before, and to see if you can repeat after me. Bob just got his private license. Bob just bought himself a bonanza. Bob's a little bit better than we expected. Bob bought himself a Baron. What's the next line? Huh? Bob's going to kill himself, right? Is that the next line? Yeah, Bob's going to kill himself. No, but Bob is not going to kill himself. Bob's got that much money. He has probably paid for some professional instruction. So Bob is going to now go out and get some time and an expensive airplane with an expensive instructor in his training, as we all should do, just like you're doing today. You have taken the time to come out to these safety seminars, which we truly appreciate. Some of these guys are fanatics about it. These two guys on the front row here, I come home sometimes, they're in my driveway. I just saw Doc there the other night. But Bob is going to kill himself in that thing. No, he's not. What makes you safer? Training, continued education, and recurrency, like coming out to our safety meetings. And I'll take this time. There's nothing like this, you know. The administrator over at Sun and Fun last week kept getting interrupted by the Blue Angels. What a way to go, you know. I'll let him lift off here. If he's going. Anyway, continuing education recurrency. We hold these safety seminars in Tampa, Sarasota, Clearwater. I'm holding instructor workshops. I told Jim, I sent Jim an email the other day. You think you're a fanatic about it. I have attended 33 seminars in the last 31 days. Now, that was Sun and Fun and 4 days in there for a while, but smell of money. Continuing education. Don't give up the training. Don't just get a flight review. Airline guys just don't get a flight review. They're continuously going to the simulator. There are alternatives out there. I know it's expensive right now to fly. There's some stuff out with Microsoft's flight simulator that you can do. You can shoot 10 approaches a week. There's stuff on the internet that you can look up and read. It's not like the days when I grew up with it, you had to go to the government printing shop and pay $10 for an approach book or something. You can Google it in 5 minutes, and it's amazing. And like I say, not a big fan of YouTube, but there are a lot of things out there, good and bad, you can learn from. So there's a good educational value. There's flight lessons out there, how to shoot an ILS. It's free. It's somebody else's opinion. I wouldn't take one person's opinion on the internet. You might want to look at 3 people shooting an ILS because some of them are professional, some of them are not, some of them are kids. But it's interesting that they know the situations that can show you some stuff on this flight sim stuff. So there are ways to enhance your knowledge and enhance your skills rather than going to the airport. Garmin has free downloads for their simulators that you can play with them. I've done a technical advanced seminar recently of things that pilots say, why did it do that? It's because you can't afford to go out here and spend 20 hours playing with your Garmin at $150 an hour. But you can set it home for free and put that thing into any situation that you want to, and you go, oh, I see why I did it. The wind was off and threw me into a parallel and rather a teardrop entry. All right, additional ratings and upgrades, and as I said, practice. And keep a professional attitude, which is what our topic, my particular topic, is about. If you take that professional attitude, as these corporate pilots and airline pilots do, and take that attitude with you to the airport, you know, I'm flying a load of passengers today. Maybe my wife, my girlfriend, or both, which we're in real trouble for, or skydivers, or something. You are, remember I said how many professional pilots we have in here? Every one of you. Okay, thank you for your time this afternoon. going to turn the program over to Jim Adhering, and I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate you coming out to all of our seminars. Thank you very much.
Give Dennis a big hand. Thank you so much, Dennis. Excellent job.